Africa doesn't produce weapons. Who is bringing these weapons into the continent? Africa is a very tribal social society. People know each other. For these people to turn against each other, you need foreign instigators. You need factors from outside the continent. And of course, we know why. Africa is very rich. It has resources, mines, gold, iron, cobalt, everything. And Western corporations, in collaboration with the American and European armies, are working hard to keep Africa down by funding conflicts, by producing a narrative that shows Africans as savages, as simple-minded, as violent, when for decades, African leaders like Gaddafi of Libya, Nasser of Egypt, Lumumba of the Congo, Nyerere of Tanzania, Mandela of South Africa, Nkrumah of Ghana, and many others came up with beautiful projects, very practical ways of actually improving the conditions, but they were never allowed to carry on they were killed, they were murdered, they were bombarded, and they were besieged.
The resources in the African continent is a blessing to the entire world, but a curse to us Africans. Because right now it looks like we need the Messiah to come in before we can be able to regain control over the African continent. Yes. And you see, every African leader that has dared challenge the authority of the West, every African leader that has dared to challenge the authority of the West have ended up 6 feet under the ground. And you know, the funny thing behind this is, some of these African presidents we have today, which we thought they are working towards the liberation of the African continent, have been the one behind the stagnation of the African continent. They have been the one behind the instability we face in the African continent. We keep asking ourselves, we don't produce weapons, yet where do the weapons come from? How do the weapons get into the African continent that ends up in the hands of terrorist groups? Who are those sponsoring them? What is their end game? And you see, most of our African leaders are aware. They know what is going on. But you see, they are doing nothing to make sure Africans gain back their continent. They are doing nothing. They are making sure we remain where we are. Some of them will even sacrifice and sell us for a bottle of wine or a wristwatch. Some of the African leaders we have, yes, they don't care about us. Out of 55 countries we have in Africa, 55 heads of states we have in Africa, they cannot sit and come together with a better plan to liberate the African continent. Everyone is fighting for his or her own position. They will make sure they do everything possible to remain as the president of their countries, even if it means unaliving the whole nation. We have seen it happen in recent weeks, and it's still happening. There are still elections coming up, which I suspect these elections will not be easy. We have Ugandan coming up with their presidential election coming up. It will not be easy. And most of these African heads of states are aware. The West will not call them dictators. Of course, they are serving their purpose. They only call you a dictator when you refuse to serve their purpose. That is why you see they call Kim Jong-un of North Korea a dictator. You understand? So this is the truth. As Africans, we need a Messiah. Instead of us praying every day, we need a Messiah. They knew what they did in everything, coming from religion, coming from the language we study, even our educational system. It's all organized to serve them, to serve their purpose.